Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back. Force here with probably what's going to be the final video from BlizzCon. The event's all wrapped up, and fortunately, I got some gameplay of Moira. Earlier this week, a couple days ago, I did put up a video with some of my first impressions of Moira, but we weren't able to record footage. Well, we finally got the opportunity, so let's take a look at Moira. Let's talk a little bit about this hero who Jeff Kaplan deemed OPAF. I don't know. It's really hard to tell early on, but before we go into opinions about that, let's just talk about the gameplay. So after spending, I think, probably what totaled out to be maybe about 2 hours with Moira between checking her out in the press room, getting some time on the streamer stage and all that fun stuff, I like her. She's a really fun hero. It's really interesting. It's very different. I want people to be well aware, though, that this is a healer who has to be in the thick of things, and I'll tell you why. Her healing definitely seems potent. She seems like she's a capable healer. The problem is that damn charge depletes fairly quickly, and it is very slow to regenerate if you're not doing damage. I was talking with the guys of your Overwatch. I actually spent a bunch of time this weekend. Hi guys, how's it going? Thanks for letting me use your thumb drive to grab this footage, by the way. And one of the things they brought up, which I ended up, after thinking about, totally agree with, is that Moira really needs, like, the team's support to be super effective. At least in the sense that if you want to keep doing a lot of healing, you need a team that's going to assist you to be able to be in a position to do damage. Because again, if you're not doing damage with your basic attack, the life leech ability, then you're not going to be able to do much healing simply by virtue of how long it takes to recharge. I think at this point I'm going to be using up a lot of my healing, and you'll be able to see how slow it refills on itself. It's really, really pretty bad. Something else that's really, I think, of key note with Moira, once she comes to the PTR, if you guys end up playing her, I think my guess is she's gonna be on the PTR in like a day or two. I think after BlizzCon last year, Sombra hit the PTR like on Monday, so it didn't take very long. They didn't even wait till Tuesday, which is like their typical patch day. Oh, that movement skill is so legit, but it's really great. You know, you don't go too far. It doesn't last a very long time, and it's funny because in the footage they show where you never saw Moira's first-person perspective and like the stock footage that Blizzard showed for Moira, it almost seemed as if it was just a straight-up blink, but it's not a blink. It's just you move super fast and you go invisible, but you can go in any direction. Like, you've got control over it. It's not like you face a direction and then you hit shift and you just teleport there. You just run like super fast. And in my early footage, I said like it was only 5 meters. I don't know, my brain wasn't working. Like, but there's a lot going on at BlizzCon. I'm kind of exhausted. But it's more like 15 meters. It seems like it's more like 15 or 20 meters in terms of the distance that you can cover. What'll probably end up happening is we'll probably end up, once she comes on the test servers, you know, you can figure that out exact distance pretty easily by just going into the testing range. So, can I also say, by the way, you've seen in some of this footage, her ultimate is just fantastic. It's so amazing. You absolutely stomp on people with the ult. All in all, she's definitely been a lot of fun. If I were to give like some tips and suggestions, you know, like I said, the healing's pretty powerful. Just try to make sure that you're being pretty on top of damaging. Also, don't forget that her damage ability is a life leech ability. God damn it, Junkrat. Her damage ability is a life leech ability as well. So if you run into these situations when you're playing Moira where you feel like you're in trouble, you know, don't forget the life leech, and also don't forget that healing orb. We've come around to kind of thinking, again, talking with the guys about this, we've come around to kind of thinking that the healing orb is the real key to success with Moira. Although the damaging orb, I toss it out every now and then, you know, get a little bit of damage on. The damage isn't that great, but more importantly, it feels like the healing orb is much needed given the strict resource that your healing bar can be, because again, when you're not dealing damage, that thing just depletes at a snail's pace. So utilizing that healing orb very, very often. And one really cool thing about her, I think this is going to be a heck of a lot of fun to kind of play around with and get used to, is just working with the angles, working with the simple geometry, as our buddy Hanzo would call it, working with the angles and getting used to, on the fly, being able to maximize the effectiveness of your orbs. Whether it's the healing or the damage orb, again though, you should probably be using a lot of the healing orb. whatever one it is, trying to get used to, like, positioning it and shooting it in a spot that is going to make sure that you can get as much out of it as possible between the ricochets. Now, I do believe, something that I do think I was incorrect on, actually, no, I don't even know if I mentioned this, but I initially thought that the orb just lasts a set amount of time and it would just bounce around and then it would disappear. It looks like at least the healing orb has a, like, maximum amount of healing it can do, and once it reaches that amount, the orb will disappear. The reason I thought it just lasted a set duration is because when I tested it with no one to heal, I would just shoot it in a room. It just kept bouncing around, and it would bounce around for like 10 seconds. But I did realize, upon using it in combat, that sometimes I would shoot out the orb and it would disappear after a second or two. So it looks like it either has a max duration, or if it reaches a healing limit, it'll disappear at that point. I don't know what that exact value is yet. Again, this is the kind of thing that once she gets on the PTR, people can then spend time to properly test out and find out exactly what the values are. And I assume, since it looks to be the case with the healing orb, that it's going to be the same with the damage variation as well. It'll last a set amount of time, which appeared to be roughly 10 seconds, or it'll just disappear once it does a set amount of damage. Also interesting is that there's a bit of tracking. It's not quite as generous as, say, Symmetra's tracking, but her damage ability does have some tracking. You'll notice there are times where my crosshair won't be immediately on my target, but the damage thing will kind of pull to the left or the right to follow whatever I'm aiming in the general direction of. So yeah, it's not like super skill intensive in terms of the aiming when it comes to dealing damage or healing, especially healing, because the healing is just in a cone. But look, you can see it's just tracking the Mei around, because like fucking whatever, Mei. And we're gonna get, I think, a big ult up here. Oh, I don't remember if it's a big one. We got a bit of footage. I just wanted to show you some of the cool moments. And I guess to wrap it up, is Moira OP AF? I don't know. She seems good, she seems decent, and she has been a lot of fun. The testing environment, you know, there's huge variance in skills, so it's really hard to get a clear picture of the strength of a hero. I think she seems cool, I think she seems fun, but I don't know that I'd call her OPAF. Maybe she comes out next week and everyone says I'm an idiot and she's like super overpowered. She seems good though, and yeah, hopefully she is good. I don't know. Thanks you guys so much for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you later.